Here comes Milo. Big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out the 37.
Oh! Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes Swag.
A push for the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins an Auto Club.
Sailor Tarot Magic is the spot to get a reading from Sally, an intuitive healer and tarot reader, known as the Nurturing Reader at New Jersey Street Fairs. You can also check out our YouTube channel for lunar and astro readings, as well as our Instagram for live weekly readings. Her rates are affordable, and you will leave with a newfound perspective. Sally is now offering an introductory class on tarot cards and intuition, and is available for parties. Call or text 732-314-0777 to schedule your reading today.
All right, we're live. BTDY Contender Series here on VSPEED. Simulators Anonymous 100 at Road America. 25 laps around this place. Looks like it's going to be plenty for these boys, as we're squaring off at one of the slipperiest tracks that we've been to all seasons long. Turning right, turning left. A lot of technical parts to this track. A lot of 90-degree and hairpin turns. Should be interesting to see who's going to get around this place, as it's one of the first road courses that BTDY has been to this season. I'm interested to see who's going to perform well. A lot of these guys had the mentality of just keeping it shiny side up. Who was going to be able to maintain those tires the longest. And with the fuel, I think that these guys can make it without pitting if they're careful. That might be the difference maker. If you're able to keep the tires on this thing and maintain your fuel, you might be able to go all the way to the end of it. So again, race 16 out of 20. We're approaching the later half of the year, and we get closer and closer to Christmas. The 19th of December will wrap up this season. We've got a lot of different guys out here setting up on grid. We've got about 8 minutes left before we hit grid, and I got a bit of an early start. I would like to thank Adam for switching the time on my thumbnail, and it totally boggled my mind. I said, I usually start this at 8:35. Why is it's 8:25? Well, apparently we're starting 10 minutes earlier today. But nonetheless, good to see everybody in the chat. Good to see you there, Epidemic. We got Ashley? I'm trying to pronounce that. Yeah. I think that I'm saying this right. The real question, War Bovine, how many racers will be going to the pits and how many will be get sent to the pits? Pit road here is very tough to get on to, so it would have to be perfect timing in order for a guy to get sent there. I think if you enter this pit road sideways, you're going to clog it up. But nonetheless, these guys have been squaring off all season long. We've seen a lot of green flag races. I'm going to assume, I'm not 100% confirming this, but I want to say course cautions are off. Full course cautions. It's probably sectional cautions for this race, because I could not imagine pacing around this track. I would say that would probably take too long. We're talking about a track that already takes over a minute and a half to get around. These guys pacing around this place for 2-3 laps could take a solid 10 minutes of our lives away. They are? You're confirming that full course cautions are off? They have the competition caution at lap 8. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. All right, so that's what the 8 out of 25 was on the original. Okay, so let's go ahead and get up your qualifying times. There's Anthony Pelican with a 2-minute 14-second lap time. Dennis Faircloth going to start in second. This is just unofficial as it sits right now with 5 minutes left of grid for qualifying. Anthony Pelican's going to be off in third, about 0.4 of a second off of the lead. Eric Lambert in the 4th position. Daniel Cunningham 5th. Nick Gardner in 6th position. They got Kyle McGarvey, the 42, in 7th. Kevin McGarvey in the 8th spot. Cody Atkins 9th, and Thomas Brendel, the last car in the top 10, did not take a time yet. Some of these guys electing not to take a pit or take a qualifying lap off of pit road. So Jeremiah Vincent, Dallas Sullivan, Alan Dice, Nick Starling, Justin Carey also have not qualified. But based off the size of this field, we got about 14, 15 cars out here. I really don't see too much. If you feel like you're going to be in the way or you don't feel confident, maybe taking a provisional and qualifying would be the way to go. Not gridding up, maybe even might be the case with some of these guys starting from the pits, just to make sure that they're confident they don't ruin someone else's race. I know that these road courses are really tough in a stock car. Yours truly has been to quite a few of them. They can get really technical.
25 laps tonight. We'll have a competition.
We got some pre-race meeting popping up here. My audio is all over the place. Trading Paints wasn't working. I hope everything's working correctly now. We had some audio issues to start this thing off. Microphone wasn't working. This is the second week in a row that that's happened to me, so I think I got some settings that need played with, or maybe a default here and there. Maybe it won't change again. I don't know. All right, enjoy the race, Epidemic. Good luck tonight. And all you Simulators Anonymous guys, we appreciate you. Simulators Anonymous bringing you the BTDY Contender Series and tonight's race. If you would like to go check them out, there's a link that pops up in the chat right above the last message sent. Okay, so yeah, ran out of things to talk about. We're going to hit the hiatus button for just a second while we get things started up. We're doing a pre-race meeting, and about 3 minutes we're going to take the grid, and we'll take you through it.
Here comes Ryan using the bottom set car
And here comes Milo. Big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out the 37.
Oh! Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes Zwack.
A push for the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Sailor Tarot Magic is the spot to get a reading from Sally, an intuitive healer and tarot reader. Known as the nurturing reader at New Jersey street fairs, you can also check out our YouTube channel for lunar and astro readings, as well as our Instagram for live weekly readings. Her rates are affordable, and you will leave with a newfound perspective. Sally is now offering an introductory class on tarot cards and intuition, and is available for parties. Call or text 732-314-0777 to schedule your reading today.
All right, here we go through your grid. Alex Pelican getting up on the grid. Just about ready to switch over. Here we go. Back to the scenic camera. Let's see if we can get in on a car. There we go. 31 Alex Pelican on the pole with a 2-minute 14-second lap time. Dennis Faircloth about 0.3 of a second off of that. He's going to start on the left-hand side of the 31. Continuing through, we've already went through it a little bit here. We got Anthony Pelican, Eric Lambert going to be in the second row. Third row is going to be Nicholas Starling and Daniel Cunningham. Nick Gardner, Kyle McGarvey, Kevin McGarvey, and then Cody Atkins going to round out your top 10. Dallas Sullivan, 11th place. Alan Dyson, 12th. 13th, Jeremiah Vincent, Justin Carey in 14th. And then to round out your field, Thomas Brindle in the 34 machine, who is maybe starting from the pits here. I'm not 100% sure. But there it is tonight, guys. BTDY, Road America. There's going to be a lot going on. We're going to try to keep up with it as best we can. A lot of different corners at this place. The field will get really spread out. And the competition caution at lap 8 will group us back up to run out the remainder of this thing. The remainder 12 laps. I apologize. That's wrong math. That's terrible math. Should be about, what, 17 laps? Remainder 17 laps. We'll stick with that. All right, here we go. And there's the green flag. 31's going to lead him down into turn 1. This is very reminiscent of your Watkins Glen setup. That long front straightaway. Here they come into turn 2. Alex Pelican wasting no time getting up to the front. Oh, and he loses it in turn 2. Dennis Faircloth dodges him. The 98, Anthony Pelican. They lose it all over the place. The 9's going to spin now. Let's go back and take a look here. Here goes the 31 into turn 1. He was looking good there. But he just loses it in turn 2, locks up the front tires, spins it off to the side. Back on the throttle, maybe a little bit too heavy, and then here comes the 9. Just has to dodge it, bounces off the 34, Thomas Brindle. But they're back up to speed here. The 9 is far, far behind. He's lost about 3 seconds to the lead. And the 98 of Anthony Pelican has fallen all the way back to 10th place, dodging that accident. Alex Pelican back to 13th from the pole in 2 corners. But we've got the 7 of Nick Starling in the lead now. And that 7 machine with bright purple on the wheels, bright purple on the body. Leading this thing over Dennis Faircloth on lap 1. Has anyone else made a mistake here? We've got a couple guys that bounced around. Thomas Brindle has actually not started or gridded. I could have swore that was the car that the 9 bounced off of. It might have been someone else. It could have been the 42 of McGarvey. He's got a little bit of left front damage. But there they go across the line for lap 1. And let's just show you how far this track spreads. It's kind of hard to see through the trees here, but we've got the 5 of Alan Dice off the track. The 21, Justin Carey into the tire barrier. I'll show you what happened to the 21. We had the 5 of Dice. He's going to spin it out, locks up the front tires a little bit, overcorrects it. But here comes the 21. And I don't think the 21 even had brakes. I think the brakes went out on this machine. He overshoots this corner by a long shot into the outside tire barrier. Justin Carey back up and running. He's going to be scored in 14th position. Back up here to Nick Starling, who led lap 1. He's got Dennis Faircloth all over the back bumper here. Faircloth gets a little loose on the exit of that corner. Eric Lambert sitting in 3rd. He's just biding his time. The 19 looking really close here. They're right on board with him. Started in the 4th position, currently running 3rd. And we had a little toss up there at the very start of this thing. The 31 of Anthony Pelican has fallen about 14 seconds back from the 7 of Nick Starling. And here goes the 80 of Dennis Faircloth, looking to the inside of the 7 of Nick Starling for just a second there down the front straightaway. Starling's going to lead lap 2. That 7 car saw the seas part and hasn't looked back since. Simulator's Anonymous on the side of this machine. He's been looking good too. His top 3 really close together. There's blood in the water and these sharks are hunting. Back here in 4th position, you've got Nick Gardner. He's having a quiet night. Of all the dialed-in boys, he's the one that's came through unscathed so far. Hasn't gotten involved in too much. Looks like he might have a little bit of nose damage. Maybe just a slight amount from that checkup. But this shuffled our field pretty big. As you can see, back to 5th position for Anthony Pelican, started in 3rd. He's already lost 2 spots, and that accident threw him off the track. He gained a couple back. He was back to 8th position at one point. Was able to get back around some of these boys. And then you've got the 8 right here, Cody Atkins, who was just inside the top 10, currently being scored in 7th. He's picked up 3 spots here today. '42 of Kyle McGarvey just behind him. Hasn't lost or gained anything yet, just kind of holding ground as we wind up lap 3. There's a pass maybe to the inside. We've got a car off the track here. We've got a car way off the track here. Kyle McGarvey might have got in. And we got another car. Daniel Cunningham losing ground here. He bounces it off the outside wall. Couple of different guys having problems through the S's. And though the 00, we're going to have to go back and watch this one. Kevin McGarvey bounces off the side of what I believe to be the 31 of Alex Pelican, who's completely turned around here. '31 of Alex Pelican was coming up on the outside. This is through the technical part where we saw Daniel Cunningham go off the track. Oh, the 00 just nails the side of the 31. Let's take that back a little bit more and get a different TV camera of it. Boy, this is going to be a tough, tough day for the 31. Alex Pelican not looking forward to this. '19 car went off course as well. Tore the whole nose off of this machine. Let's see if we can go back and figure out what happened to him. See, the 7 car locks it up, and man, right into the, didn't downshift, took it right into the wall. And he is going to probably be done for the day for the 19, unfortunately for him. But we've got a lead change here. 80, Dennis Faircloth up to the lead now. Able to take it away from Nick Starling. I believe Starling was able to lead lap 3. He only led 2 laps, so the 80 of Faircloth has got 1 under the belt. And he might be checking out here. We watched their race at Watkins Glen. Faircloth was doing very well. It was one of his first top 3s, I believe. So we know that Faircloth can get around these tracks. That 7 of Starling sideways off the corner there. But look who's still in the hunt back here. The 98, Anthony Pelican, starting to work his way back up to these leaders. 6.6 seconds this time around. Competition caution's going to group these boys back up at lap 8. Tough break for a lot of these guys tonight. Justin Carey's got a lot of damage. The 00 of Kevin McGarvey's got some substantial damage. The 31 started on the pole, currently being scored in the 8th position. And you know he's working the wheels off this machine. He's playing catch up since the start of this thing. He's got a lot of work to do though. 31 is being scored 31 seconds back from the leader. And you can tell he's driving the doors off that thing. So here's your second place driver, Nick Starling, that's been kind of losing ground here to the 80 of Faircloth. About 1.2 seconds back now. Faircloth just getting through these technical sections a little bit quicker. And that 80 car is checking out as I suspected. We knew that Faircloth was fast at these places. Clips the grass there a little bit. Gets loose off the exit. And now they're headed down that long straightaway to come across for lap number 6. AD of Faircloth has probably done the best I've seen out of all these cars at the start of this thing. Hasn't been involved in any accidents. Was able to make a clean pass on the 7. Oh, and there he goes. He's sliding it now. Curse of the camera on that machine. Nice drift, and the 98's off in the back. Anthony Pelican goes off in turn 1. This is going to allow Nick Gardner to catch up. So tough break here for the Pelican brothers that, you know, they've had such a great string of top 3 finishes going. And both of them having kind of issues early. Anthony being on the better end of all of it, able to get back up into the top 3. But Alex has just been caught up accident after accident. He's got the lead about 33 seconds away. That's 2 seconds from the last time we checked in at this point. Good to see 69mega.com coming back into the chat. Good to see you back in here. I know you love road course racing. It's good to know. Appreciate the links. Let's talk about some of these guys that we haven't mentioned very much today. There's Dallas Sullivan up inside the top 10. Started in the 11th spot, currently running 9th. He will be scored about 38 seconds back from the lead. Alan Dice in 10th spot. Dice was one of those cars that went off early but has since cleaned it up a little bit. There he goes off the rumble strip. We used to call those turtles, and you don't want to hit a turtle. Places like the Roval where you could hit one and it would launch the car up in the air, but it looks like the rumble strips at this track are a little more forgiving. A little more shallow into the pavement. But you can still curb hop. You have to be careful. Sending this thing really upset and out into the grass. And like anything, golfing, driving a car, you don't want to be in a sand trap. So checking back in with your leader, we've got the 7 car, Nick Starling, just behind him. Looked like he might have taken that corner a little bit off, a little bit wide. The lead has grown to about 4 seconds now. Dennis Faircloth is in another time zone as he tries to pull away as far as he can before the competition caution. Nice and smooth for the 80 machine. Not trying to get too technical. Just trying to keep it shiny side up. That's what you have to do. He's currently led 4 laps, and I know it seems like he should have led about 10 by now, but that's how long it takes to get around this place. Over 2 minutes for qualifying. These guys are probably running somewhere similar to 2 minutes, 18 seconds. Track conditions right now, 78 degrees in the air temperature and 104 on the track surface. That makes for a very greasy track. And you see some of these guys slip sliding around, locking up the brakes, and Justin Carey goes off again, right? As we say that, that machine cannot take much more of a beating. He's already lost the hood off of it. You're back to Anthony Pelican running in third, 6.5 seconds back for him. That gap continues to grow. The 80 machine just on another level here tonight. Back to Nick Gardner, who's fallen about 13 seconds back in 4th position. Quiet night for Nick. Haven't, I mean, that's probably good. That's probably a good thing, guys. Everybody that we've talked about tonight has either had a mishap in turn 1 or got into contact with another car. There's been a lot of action here in the first 8 laps of this thing. And this will be the first competition caution, I believe, of the season. So, lap 8, as we complete it here, Dennis Faircloth going to come across. Looking like it's going to be true. He takes the Thrustmaster green machine. I'm liking the theme on this car. Looks like it's got a baseball diamond on the hood, some shark, kind of like the old bomber, like B-52 bomber look on the side of it. Very neat paint job. So you said it in chat, Bovine. All he has to do is be nice and clean through the S's. He's doing just that. And then he goes off the track. The 80 of Faircloth loses it. Nick Starling's going to try to take advantage of it. Here he comes. I can't believe the curse of the camera got him. Now he's within 1.8 seconds. What a lead he had. A massive lead cut in half. But down the straightaway, it's going to be Faircloth. He's able to hold on to it.
Sure you're getting yourself something to drink there, buddy.
And the 80 car almost shot himself in the foot. So let's show you currently where everyone is right now at the competition caution. Dennis Faircloth still able to hang on to that lead. Nick Starling 7th, Anthony Pelican 3rd, Nick Gardner, Kyle McGarvey, Daniel Cunningham, Cody Atkins, Alex Pelican, who was begging for that competition caution, Dallas Sullivan, Alan Dice, Kevin McGarvey, Jeremiah Vincent, Justin Carey, Eric Lambert, and Thomas Brindle, 8 laps down, so I believe Thomas Brindle's just elected not to start this race. But I tell you what, competition caution, it's been something else. I've never seen it here before. I know Automod is taking over on some of these. I don't know if VSPEED allows swear words in their chat, guys, so I apologize. I would show the messages in my personal, my opinion, but I don't know the rules, and I try to keep it as professional as possible. So I know that a lot of guys don't care. But here we are. Lap 9. We're going to come down pit road. I'm sure of it. Some of these guys needed 4 fresh tires after some of the spins that they've had. And Dennis Faircloth pulling out to a ginormous lead. And on the last corner, before the competition caution, overshoots the S's. There's Nick Starling that almost took advantage of that. Anthony Pelican, who's had a decent recovery here. Nick Gardner. And then Kyle McGarvey. And I tell you what, some of these guys have just been on another planet with how they're getting around this place. It's insane to see Faircloth pull out that big of a lead in that short amount of time. If they don't get this 80 car tech inspected, I'll be surprised if he doesn't fail. That dude is just all over it right now. He's got a great car, great driving. A few hiccups here and there, but overall, great performance so far for the 80 of Faircloth. And then Nick Starling really impressed with that as well. Nap time during the caution. Some of these guys might be taking a nap back here. Let's check in some of the guys back here. I don't think anyone's napping through the S's. There's a 9 of Jeremiah Vincent. We know that these guys are going to bring it down pit road. No reason not to take 4 free tires. Long, straight pit road. Takes quite some time to even find any stalls in this pit stall, or in this pit road. Trying to find some cars here. There we go. Too many cameras around this place. You've got probably close to 200 acres that this facility sits on. A lot of cameras. So there's your pole sitter pulling into his first pit stall, but he's probably going to be the last one out. We've got Dennis Faircloth down and away. Nick Starling trying to beat him off of pit road. Not going to happen. Look at that exit. Some of these guys really close to going across that line. You see the 7 of Starling. Go back and take a look at how close that was. That's how close it was right there. Just misses that. And then the 16 has to check up. So catching back up to the pace car. We're going to go green on lap 11. We're going to take the remainder of this. Bunch of these guys back up. Your leader, Dennis Faircloth. He started in second position, so he's definitely not off the pace here tonight. But I can tell you what, the 31 car, with the damage of that machine, starting on the pole, currently being scored in 12th position. He's got plenty of time to fix this car. It takes a long time to pace around this place. He's got nothing but time on his side. So we're not even halfway around this place yet. You see him pacing through. Let's pull a guy up here into the booth. Dennis Faircloth, it's Bradley Cooper in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Dennis, it's long pacing around this place, but I'm sure you're feeling it pretty well since you've got the front row seat right now, sitting in first position. We followed you around. We had lap 1, turn 1. The 31 car spins
that was
it.
a gift, I think, but yeah, that was close. Glad I made it through there. I didn't want to push too hard because I know Nick doubts himself, but he's pretty good. So I don't want to say I let him lead, but I wasn't exactly dog walking it either, or cake walking it, however you say it. I had to wait for him to make a mistake because I couldn't just pass him. So, but yeah, I'm really hoping this pace car stays out. Yep, all right. I was hoping for 2 laps because honestly, I was hoping to be able to pass the pace car and make a full lap before we had to catch it. But this is gonna work out. So.
Well, Dennis,
really
we were watching the 7. He was lurking back there, and you made that slight little error in the S's right before.
Yeah,
that was on lap 8. So
and I shifted into 3rd gear for some unknown reason, and instead of staying in 2nd, and when I did that, all the turns just went away. Thankfully, I caught it.
Yeah, that's been the product. A couple guys, even a teammate of yours, said that he downshifted or tried to downshift, and it just didn't happen. So,
yeah.
So we got about, what do we say, about 12 laps to go when we go green here. What do you got for him? You gonna hold on to this thing?
I'm depending on a buffer between me and Pelican, and hoping I can get away cleanly. I don't know. We were pretty close in practice. I put in a lot of practice laps of my own in my own sessions leading up to this. I want to try not to get nervous and see what happens.
Well, good luck, Dennis, and we appreciate you coming in here to the booth and talking with us.
All right, thanks, man.
There's your leader, the 80, Dennis Faircloth, has led 8 laps of this thing, 11 laps into this race, and we were just talking about the 7 of Starling. He's no slouch. He was sitting there lurking, waiting to jump at the opportunity if Dennis Faircloth made a mistake, but the lead just got a little bit too big, and that slight little miscalculation by Faircloth wasn't enough for him to lose the stage break lead. Well, wouldn't call it a stage break, the competition break. A bunch of these guys back up, but back here lurking really close by. I think this is what everyone's fear was. Dennis just mentioned Anthony Pelican sitting in 3rd. They're going to try to get a buffer and get out as far as they can, really close in practice times to your current leader. And now that everyone's bunched back up, there is potential that the 98 could get up there. Now sitting back just a little bit further back, we had our pole sitter, Alex Pelican, who's gotten some of that damage repaired. He's going to catch back up to this field, but unfortunately for him, he's going to have to catch up quickly, which means he's going to get these tires heated up a little faster than the rest of these guys. Maybe a good thing for when we take green. He might be able to come into turn 1 and pass a couple guys with those heated up tires, but in the long run, we get to lap 20 or so, this could be the downside of this because he's out here turning a time to try to catch these leaders and at 45 seconds back. And comparatively, it's just not, I don't know that it's a good thing, you know? It could possibly hinder him later on in this run. So, timing and scoring, showing all these guys lined up. Dennis Faircloth, Nick Starling, Anthony Pelican, Nick Gardner, Kyle McGarvey, Dallas Sullivan, Cody Atkins, Daniel Cunningham, Jeremiah Vincent, Kevin McGarvey, Alan Dice, and Alex Pelican. Justin Carey is elected to pull it behind pit wall. We've got 3 cars out of this race. Eric Lambert and Thomas Brendel, the other 2. So let's get the ticker up there. Get ready to go green. Through the S's here. Make sure the 31 car was able to catch back up. He's still on the other side of the track, so he might not be able to make it in time. But we're going to ride on board for 1 lap here with the 80 machine of Dennis Faircloth. Pace car is going to make that hard right turn into pit road. And green flag is out. There you go.
Flag, green flag.
Down into turn one. This is the part where a lot of guys have made mistakes. Anthony Pelican locking up the front tires here. They're side by side, and Dennis Faircloth is able to get the edge. Closes the door into turn one. Off of turn two, and it looks like he gapped him a little bit. Faircloth able to get the edge in turn one and close the door on Anthony Pelican. That's what he wanted to do, try to get as much of a buffer as he could, but now he just has to be technical and pure. 98 is all over his bumper, and the 7 of Starling is starting to come back into the mix. Nick Gardner lurking back there as well. Any one of these guys makes a mistake, there's going to be a position gained very quickly, hopefully not getting caught up in it as well. Cody Atkins sitting back there in the 6th spot. He was working on the bumper of the 42, Kyle McGarvey, for just a moment there. Nine of Jeremiah Vincent has lost a ton of time. I'm not sure what happened to him, but let's go back on board with the 98, Anthony Pelican. You can see already Dennis Faircloth out to 0.7 of a second. Oh, wheel hop for the 98. Almost loses it coming out through the S turns. They get the machines checked up here. Faircloth keeping it up. He's doing a great job. This is where he overshot last time. He's got to be really careful through here. Last turn here before the front stretch as Dennis Faircloth is going to lead lap number 12. Up over the hill and across the line, looking really good for the 80 right now. This top three has spread out tremendously. 1.5 seconds back to Nick Starling in third. You can see what a gap here. But the 80 of Faircloth is pulled out already. Almost a second gap over the second position car of Anthony Pelican. And the field spread 21 seconds back to Jeremiah Vincent. As he's just now coming out of turn one. We haven't seen anybody struggle. We do have the 5 car maybe a little wide on that exit there. He's going to lose a little bit of ground. Currently being scored in the 9th position, though. 12 cars still out there on the track. The 31 of Alex Pelican hasn't been able to rebound from this yet. Trying to claw his way back up into the top 5 after starting on the pole. But this guy right here, driving for another dimension. Faircloth, almost a second ahead now of Anthony Pelican. Lap 13 out of 25. Faircloth looking to get a win this season. It's just come up short a couple different times. He's had some opportunities. And I know that we try to keep the camera off of him, but when you're going to lead this thing, you take that risk. Trying not to get nervous in our mid-race interview with him during the competition caution. If there's one guy that's going to make you nervous, though, it's right here. That's what he's in his mirror right now. Anthony Pelican putting on the heat. Leading lap 13, coming up on 14 now. Peak to the inside for the 98. Trying to get that first career win for the 80, and the 98 of Anthony Pelican lurking back there. Starting to smell a little bit of blood here. I know I use that analogy a lot, but these guys are swimming around this place. There's a lot going on. You have to be instinctive. 4/10, 5/10 of a second. He can shrink that back down quickly. Dennis is just really good through these 90-degree hairpins, and it's showing as he pulls out to a second in that corner alone. Anthony actually lost ground to Nick Starling that time by. Faircloth just really, really excellent through these portions of the track. Struggles a little bit with the final set of S's right before the last turn in the front straightaway. That's where he gives a lot of time back to the 98, but right now, he's doing a great job handling himself, maintaining that gap. Not overdriving the car. You can hear how smooth he is on the throttle. Cleanly done through here. And the 7 of Starling goes off the track. Able to recover it. What a save by the 7. Let's go through these S's again. See if we can come around here with what should have been a 20-second instant replay turned into a 40-second instant replay. But here's our telemetry. I know that the 7 of Nick Starling just overshoots this exit a little bit. Able to keep it off the wall. What a drift. So the battle for the lead still maintained about 5/10, 6/10 of a second. It goes back and forth. So Dennis is giving him back some of that gap that he made. I think he's going to take some of it back. We're going to look at probably close to a 1-second gap. But Anthony Pelican doing a great job hanging with Dennis Faircloth right now. And as the laps tick away, we've got about 10 to go. Faircloth is going to have to be perfect. Lot of technical parts to this track. The 90-degree turns, you can see that gap kind of staying here, so maybe Anthony's starting to figure it out in these parts of the track. Back here to Nick Gardner in 4th position. A little battle brewing between the 8 of Cody Atkins. This is for the 4th position. I don't know that Cody has gotten around Kyle McGarvey a moment ago. We missed that pass, so Atkins up into the top 5. But now this battle's shaping up. What a wiggle by the 8 car coming off of that corner. Helmet camera brought to you by Simulators Anonymous. Full immersion. I'll tell you what. Atkins is driving the doors off that thing, putting a lot of wheel into the exits, back and forth. That time by, leading lap 15. He's got a lot of laps led. Let's bring him up there. 13 out of the 25 here tonight for Dennis Faircloth, and he's having a phenomenal race. He's just got to bring it home. Great job in turn 1. Excellent job in turn 1. Able to pull out almost 4/10 of a second over Anthony Pelican that time through. Anthony still trying to figure out how he can catch this machine. That right there tells me that there's something going on, and you've got a better car, or better driving line around this place if you start pulling out a second lead over a Pelican. That's got to be a confidence boost for the 80 of Dennis Faircloth. Really, all he has to do is maintain that gap. Just be really careful, confident, but careful. He's doing a great job right now. He could probably afford to back it down a 10th and still have a great run here. Through the carousel, and this track very reminiscent of Watkins Glen. We have the carousel, we have that hard right hook into turn 1, the long straightaway at the finish line. The S's on the back stretch. The only thing it's missing is a bus stop chicane. So if you're tuned in right now to VSPEED, we go live 8:25 Monday and Tuesday. That's Eastern time. Tune in tomorrow for the Tuesday night premiere series at BTDY. That will be live at 8:25 as well. Some of the names that you're familiar with in here: Dennis Faircloth, Nick Garner, Anthony Pelican. A lot of these boys competing bigger field as well. I hope you guys have hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications so you never miss a single race. So, lap 17, he's leading it well. 1 second advantage over Anthony Pelican as Dennis Faircloth doing a heck of a job here tonight. Looking for that first career victory at BTDY. He's in the right place to do it. We just look at the back bumper right now. That lead shrinks and grows every time we come through this part of the track. He gives some and then takes some. Anthony Pelican really driving hard into the entries of these corners, and that allows Dennis Faircloth that exit speed that the 80 car is getting is just phenomenal. Now it's down to 0.6 of a second. But he's able to maintain this gap through the carousel again. The best thing you can do right now is turn that relative off and look straight ahead of you. Focus on the next corner. Race that track. You know that Faircloth has had some great performances. Hopefully no one throws a shoe out on the track right now. One lead change here tonight. I would technically put in a 1.5 lead change. We had a pole sitter that went into turn 1 a little sideways, and I would consider that our first lead change, but iRacing telemetry only going to count the leaders that change for leading a lap. The other guy to lead a lap here tonight is currently being scored in the 3rd position, 6.5 seconds back, so you can put that in perspective here. Look at this blimp camera. There's no one near him. Got to go all the way up here to find the two battling right now, the 80 and the 98. They have checked out entirely from this field. Under the Sargento Bridge, Faircloth faring well. 1 second back up there on the board. And that, I'll tell you what, man, it's just a product of great driving, great talent. A lot of practice goes into this. Sometimes you come into these corners to start getting hypnotized. But on lap 18 out of 25, Dennis Faircloth has been near perfect. Hasn't made a mistake yet. He knows that he has a 98 in his mirror, but The smart money is just driving the corners the way you know how, not worrying about losing that lead, and maintain that gap. As this run progresses, we're getting slicker and slicker on the tires. They're starting to get worn out, really stressing the wheel. I can tell you that nobody's more stressed than the 80 right now behind the wheel of the car. But you just got to suppress that, find a way to harness that energy. Faircloth doing a great job at it right now. So you're your top 5. There's the 3rd position car, Nick Starling, 7 seconds back. He's had a phenomenal race as well. The seas parted, led a couple laps here tonight. But 7.5 seconds, that just shows you how quick these guys have been up front. There's Cody Atkins in the 4th spot. Nick Gardner must have had some issues. He was in the 4th position a moment ago. So Cody Atkins is able to snag it away. Then you into the top 5 for Kyle McGarvey. Started 8th. He's picked up 3. And solid performance for him tonight. Let's check in and figure out what happened to Nick Gardner. He must have went off course, or maybe that battle between the 8. I don't know if something shaped up. Something might have happened there that put the 16 back in 7th. Unfortunate for the 16. He had a solid night going, but now scored in 7th position. Daniel Cunningham, who had a bunch of issues early, in 8th. Alan Dice, 9th. And then Kevin McGarvey's going to round out your top 10. Your pole sitter outside of the top 10 right now. That's the 31, Alex Pelican. And then the last car out on the track, last car on the lead lap is the 9 of Jeremiah Vincent, but substantial damage on the left side of that machine. He's just, actually, the hood is completely missing. He's just trying to bring it home. All right, so as we progress through here, 80, Faircloth, almost 2 seconds ahead now. Gonna lead lap 20. It's looking good for the 80 car. I know the excitement here in the chat. We root for these guys week in, week out, but Sims Anonymous guys always in the chat week after week. They've been looking forward to this. They've been looking for this all season long. And I think it's the paint scheme. I really do. I think that's a product of just having an awesome looking paint job. Really like the pearl green on that. I'd say they waxed that car a few times. It's cutting through the air a little bit quicker than Anthony Pelican back here in 2nd. Right on board with this machine. T-Sport on the hood. I know that doesn't look like a 2-second gap, but it is, and it's growing with every lap that goes by here. Anthony Pelican loses a couple tenths here and there. I look to see the 98 start really pouring it on. He's either going to overdrive it or he's going to catch the 80. So the field very spread out here, a minute and 7 seconds all the way back to 12th position. That's a pretty big gap. That's over half the track with only 12 cars out here on the track currently. That's a pretty giant spread. And if you go through your top 10, there's about 47 seconds splitting them. You could go through and probably pick out any car at any given time that's had an issue. The 5 of Alan Dice had an issue very early. He's got the hood missing off of that. We saw the 00 get into the side of the 31. He's had some issues tonight. The 31's had the most major, the biggest loss here tonight, starting on the pole and following all the way back to 11th spot. A lot of damage on the back of that car still. That competition caution giving him an opportunity to fix most of that, but still, that car can't be handling quite perfect. As you can see, the back end pretty totaled. Hopefully mostly sheet metal. That thing is safely able to get around this place, just not able to make up any ground on your leaders. And then we check back in with your leaders. 1.7 seconds, and it's just kind of it's staying there. It's stagnant, and that's what Faircloth needs to do, is just maintain that gap, not overdrive any of these corners, get really smooth exits as we come up on 4 laps to go. This is where he has to just keep doing what he's doing and get into that rhythm. You start to overthink things, car can get away from you in a hurry. We saw that happen when he was leading before the competition caution. Gave a almost 4-second lead, half of it back to Nick Starling. Got it down to 1.3 seconds on that final straightaway. And a little drift there through the carousel for the 80 of Faircloth, but still able to maintain. And that's all he's got to do, is just keep maintaining, take his time. And the 98 is off. The 98 is off through the S's. Anthony Pelican, the lead has grown over 4 seconds now. The 98, almost 5 seconds ahead now. Let's go back and take a look at what happened here. This is through the carousel, and we're going to go through the S's in just a moment. Just overshoots it. This is what we saw Nick Starling do earlier. A deceitful part of the track. Now Nick Starling was in camera view of the 98, or the 98, yes, and it's looking like Starling might have an opportunity to snag away second spot. But Anthony Pelican gonna lose a ton of time here. We're almost at 5.5 seconds. And Dennis Faircloth, all he has to do is keep it on the track. I think at this point he is good to go. 4 laps left in this thing, and the 80 Faircloth able to cut it off in on lap 11 when we went back green, lap 12 and turn 1. And he overshoots that corner just a little bit. He's just got to back it up, take his time. No reason to get into a hurry now. 5 seconds is a huge gap. He could give up a second a lap. Picture that, chat. He could give up 1 second a lap and still come out ahead of the 98 right now. He just needs to drive it nice and easy and stay consistent. Anthony Pelican's trying to shave some of that down. He's got it back close to 5 seconds right now. But we might see another mistake. When you start to drive to catch up, when you start racing another car, that's when those mistakes happen. And frustration, I'm sure, is sinking in for some of these guys Alex Pelican probably being the most frustrated here tonight. But Alex is able to get back up into the top 10. So the 31 trying to salvage the day. He's on the back bumper of Alan Dice currently. And he goes off course just a little bit there. Off the exit. And this is the part of the track we've seen a lot of guys make mistakes. Very fast part of the track, but still very technical. He was right up on the bumper of Dice. Here we go, peeking again. I think he's going to get him through these S's. On the outside. And there he goes. He's able to crack ninth. Back up to your leader now. We were looking at some pretty sizable gap growing up to 6.5 seconds now. Dennis Faircloth has not slowed down at all. Well, I tell you what, 69 Mega really loves road courses tonight. Three laps to go. He's led over 15. He's got 20 laps led now for Dennis Faircloth. Started second. Put in the time. You got to put in the practice if you want to get around a place like this. Road America is such a tough place to get around in any car. But then you throw a 3,400-pound stock car on it, and it just adds a whole new set of boundaries and things that can go wrong. Thick sidewall tires that like to scrub and slide. Takes a long time for that heat to build up and the tire pressures to come up. Not to mention you've got these deceitful corners at this place. The high speeds that you take down the front straightaway into turn one. But Faircloth just on point. 7 seconds now. 2 laps to go. This time, and next time we see that car, it'll be white flag in that corner. Dennis Faircloth has absolute 100% potential to win this race tonight. No cautions on the track. 100% drove the doors off this thing, put it in the right spot at qualifying. You could say that it was a gift that the 31 spins in turn one, but that might have been inevitable. We don't know. Anything can happen at these places, and everything has happened perfectly for the 80 of Faircloth tonight. Through the field, Anthony Pelican. Tough break for him. He is driving a great race. Second position is nothing to hold your head down about. Would probably like to be a lot closer to the 80 machine currently in this closing couple laps. But nonetheless, great performance here for Anthony Pelican. Nick Starling, we've talked a lot about him, led some laps. That 7 machine with a purple paint job, looking really good out there. Through the carousel now. Solid effort by this team. They needed a good race like this to gain that confidence back, and Nick's going to bring it home as long as he can keep it on the track here. Oh, he's getting sideways through the S's. Let's get the camera off that machine before it goes sideways into the dirt. There's the 8 of Cody Atkins. 4th position through the dirt. They're drifting again. We've seen these guys do that several times, and the 8 didn't do it quite as good as the 7, but still really good drive through there to keep it back up on the track. And then to round out your top 10, Dallas Sullivan. Where did he come from? We were talking about him earlier and back in the 8th position, 9th spot. Now in the top 5. So Dallas Sullivan going to bring it home. He's got Kyle McGarvey. Don't count him out, but we've got white flag here. And this is into turn 1. Let's ride on board. Take our final lap around this place with Dennis Faircloth. Not a ding or a dent on this machine. I don't even think he has. He might have a little grass up in the fender wells here tonight. But 8.3, 8.5 seconds, and that gap's still growing. He almost seems like he wants to take that gap to double digits and take it to 10 seconds. He's coming up on 9 now. We go through the 5th turn of this track. 90-degree left-hander. Speedville Bridge. Through the carousel. They'll be coming out the other side for the Sargento Bridge. The deceitful corner right here where everyone's been shooting off into the exit. Now the deceitful S's. This end part right here, very technical. You got to brake really early, be nice and smooth. A touch right hand. Now we've got a blind lefter. He's coming up on the final corner. Dennis Faircloth has done it better than anyone else here tonight. White flag in the air off of the last corner down the front straightaway. Dennis Faircloth, first career victory across the line. Congratulations to Dennis Faircloth to getting that victory. I can guarantee there will be no tires left on this machine. Bringing it home in 2nd position. Anthony Pelican. Nick Starling going to bring it home in 3rd. But your winner here tonight, Dennis Faircloth. What a great job. What a great drive here for the 80. It's going to get a congratulations from the 98 of Anthony Pelican. I can guarantee you that. The 80 car just decided to take it over here. He's going to burn it down. Holy cow. What do we got going on here? Let's figure out what that was. I believe that was the 98. Somebody coming back towards these boys. I believe that was Dallas Sullivan. Yeah, he's on his lid. Flips over the leader here. These guys ejected from the track. There's your 2nd place finisher, Anthony Pelican, and then the 3rd, Nick Starling, down here burning it down with the 80. All right, post-race interviews. We're going to catch up with the winner of this thing. BTDY Contender Series. Post-race interviews with your top 3. We'll be right back after this.
Sailor Tarot Magic is the spot to get a reading from Sally, an intuitive healer and tarot reader. Known as the Nurturing Reader at New Jersey street fairs, you can also check out our YouTube channel for lunar and astro readings, as well as our Instagram for live weekly readings. Her rates are affordable, and you will leave with a newfound perspective. Sally is now offering an introductory class on tarot cards and intuition, and is available for parties. Call or text 732-314-0777 to schedule your reading today.
All right, we're getting down here in victory lane. We've got Dennis Faircloth winning this thing. We talked to you during that competition caution. You said all you had to do was maintain, keep it shiny side up, and not get nervous. It worked out quite well.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I still got nervous because on that restart, I tried to get a jump. Because at first I was confused. I'm like, is there a restart zone or what? And then I noticed there wasn't any, additional info on the screen. So I'm just like, well, pace cars in pit road, I'm gonna gas it. And I went, and Anthony didn't catch me sleeping, or I didn't catch him sleeping. He drove it down in there, but gave me room. Glad he raced me clean. I don't think him and I have really had any incidents. So I'm sitting here thinking, like, does he have any reason to take me out? I've had my share of run-ins with guys, and I hate when that happens. I don't like racing like that, but it's always in the back of my mind. I'm like, I've spun enough people out to where I know I got one coming to me at some point, but. I'm glad he raced me clean. And
Well, I tell you what you had coming to you tonight, Dennis. You did a phenomenal job. You've had this win long time coming. First career win here at BTDY, and it just it's a. I mean, you put the practice in. It just goes to show you the seat time and the amount of practice and effort that goes into these things, and you're able to pull it off.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I did over 100 laps of practice. I adjusted my FOV. I raced with shoes on tonight. I haven't done that in a while, and I stayed completely deafened in Discord the whole time. Didn't talk to anybody until you interviewed me, and uh, hung with the boys a little bit during the caution. But after that, I, went deaf again. I guess if I put on some shoes and stop talking, I might be able to do this more often.
I mean, that's everybody's got their thing. Sometimes it can be overwhelming, but you got the focus. You did what you had to do, and that gap just kept growing. Even when you could have slowed down, it just continued to grow. You ran your consistency, and you did one hell of a job out there, Dennis. One hell of a job.
Thanks so much. I know it's just a sim, but this means a lot. I've put a lot of energy into this league. I put a lot of time in it. I got some great friends. Um, I mean, for one, got to thank my wife for letting me spend money on this stuff and take the time to do it, and keeps me sane sometimes, I guess. Sometimes it drives me insane, but that's a different story. But thank my teammates at Simulators Anonymous. They've stuck with me. Pretty sure I've made some of them mad before, but we all stick together. We all make each other mad. We have our arguments, but we're there for each other. And guess I would say, I guess this is for Tommy the Green Ranger. Jason David Frank, lost his battle with his demons, and like I've said a few times, even the mightiest of men can lose to their loose to their demons, and unfortunately, he was one of them. So if anybody hears this, if you're in a dark place, if you have thoughts like that, if you just can't move on, or keep going, talk to somebody. They got the suicide awareness line now, 988. You don't have to worry about trying to punch in a bunch of numbers. You can call or text it. Different things you can do. But yeah, this one's for him. I'm not gonna say he was a hero. I mean, I watched my share of Power Rangers, but it's not like I followed in the footsteps of the guy. But I know he is a great guy and did a lot for other people. But yeah, thank you guys for putting on the broadcasts and the admins of the league, running the league. I seem to think they do a good job. Some people don't, but I love them.
Oh, excellent
And
racing here.
Got
Excellent
one more
racing here.
person to thank, and that's Doug the tire guy. He's got a lot in this, so yeah, that's where I'm gonna end it.
All right, Dennis. Well, we appreciate your time, man. Congratulations on tonight's victory, and it's just a phenomenal job. And I appreciate you coming up here and taking your time to talk with us in the booth. And we hope to see more of this, Dennis. We hope to talk to you next week.
Green Ranger power.
Right on. That awesome paint scheme too, by the way.
Thanks.
All right, race winner Dennis Faircloth, able to get it done. Excellent job for him tonight. We've got your second place finisher now, Anthony Pelican. And just a little bit of a struggle. We had some issues there, lap 1, turn 1, and then it just kind of seemed like the race never improved after that for you guys. You were able to maintain that top 5, and you had the sniff of the lead. A few different issues kind of took place, but lap 1, turn 1. Let's walk through that for a second. What happened there?
I really just tried to avoid Alex and got in the grass. And then once I got in the grass, I was trying to do my best not to just pull back in front of everybody. So I kind of took my time getting back on the racetrack there, and then just tried to pick them off one by one without wrecking.
Well, you fell back just outside the top 5, was able to race your way back up into the top 3 before we had the competition break. You come off of pit road in 3rd spot, I do believe, and you had Nick Starling there, and you were running into turn 1. You had the position to pass, and Dennis said you raced clean, everything was good, but that door closed, and then it never really opened again, right?
Yeah, not really. And then towards the end there, it was really close on fuel. So I was going to try to save a little bit there to make a run to get back to Dennis, see if I could do anything with him. And on the first lap, I decided to go back at it. I caught a little too much curb in the kink and ended up fencing it.
We saw you go off there about lap 18, lap 19, and was that just a product of you were trying to catch him and it just wasn't happening?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Dennis had class of the field tonight.
Well, you brought it home in second. I know we talk to you a lot, and it's usually after a win or, you're a podium driver, but you got a second place finish. We're not taking anything away from that because you did a hell of a job. It's a hard track to get around.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll take this points day. I'd rather get the points day over the win any day. With me getting second and Alex finishing 7th, it's huge for points.
A lot of these guys electing not to come out here on the track, so that in itself is respectable. And to be able to get around this place and still have a car left to finish with, great job tonight on the second place. Do you have anybody you'd like to thank for tonight's performance?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my wife and my 2 daughters for their support. Everybody at Dialed In Racing. Alex for helping me get around this place. I know he didn't really get to showcase much of it tonight, but he's really good here. That damage there early on kind of hurt him. But thanks to him for teaching me how to get around this place. I'd have been way off tonight if it wasn't for that.
Well, we thank you for your time, Anthony. And you know what? Next week, man, we're going to go back to something we're a little more familiar with. So good luck out there.
Yeah, I don't know where we're racing next weekend, but I can tell you I'd much rather race there than the road course.
Well, we're going to be at Martinsville, so that's a little more in turning left,
Yeah, I love Martinsville on iRacing, so hopefully we can do what we did at Richmond.
All right, well, started 3rd, brought it home 2nd. Congratulations, Anthony, and we hope to talk to you next week, man.
Yeah, thank you. See you then.
All right, there's your 2nd place finisher, Anthony Pelican. All right, let's bring 3rd place here, Nick Starling. Caught up with him on pit road. We got post race with him. Nick, man, you were up there. You led a couple laps here tonight. You were in the position at times to maybe snag that lead back, but it just seemed like those guys in front of you had clocked out. What was the deal here? We had a lot of guys going off the course. Was it just really slippery out there tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of what I was noticing is I felt like kind of where I was running, I could kind of keep in front of the guys behind me just from being consistent and not overdoing it. But to be able to keep up with Anthony and Dennis, I mean, you got to run at full speed and you got to be consistent with it. So there's definitely a balance out there, I feel like, as far as, pushing it to the max. And it pays off on the lap times and the pace, but obviously you miss one braking zone trying to push it. And that's when guys were running off the track and all that good stuff. And unfortunately, that's kind of that first stint. I feel like I was running there with Dennis pretty good, and I was actually keeping, the same distance with Anthony behind me. And then after the competition caution, I was just kind of those guys kind of checked out a little bit, and I started overshooting some corners, and I think Anthony ended up doing some too. So Dennis deserved that win tonight. I felt like he just was, super consistent, and I felt like he only had one mess up tonight.
Yeah, Dennis was class of the field, no doubt about it. But you put it up there in the top three. You started back. We can go back and look. You started back in the fifth position. You picked off a couple guys before that competition caution, and then you find yourself right there in the lead on lap 4. What was going through your mind? Were you thinking, oh, maybe I'm better at this place than I originally predicted, or were you just kind of like, okay, I got to ride? What does it take to get around this place and maintain a lead like that?
Oh man, it's funny you asked. I mean, it's just uh tonight was a race where I wasn't planning on running, ran a couple of practice laps. Guys taught me into it. I think part-time the super speedway race earlier, we got a win, and I wasn't planning on racing that one. And it's something about me not planning on racing these races and thinking I'm not going to do any good. And we get going, and sure enough, man, it was. You look at my practice times, I think I was running like 118s. We did qualifying, ran 117, and then in the race clicked off like a 116.3 or something like that. So I think it's just repetition, honestly. I kind of hate that I went into the race with that mindset because now I feel like if I'd have turned some laps in, we probably could have had a little better of a result or at least raced with Anthony and Dennis up there. So, um, kind of like what I said at the beginning, though, I kind of feel like there's a balance of being consistent, hitting your marks. And I felt like where I finished was kind of based off doing that while guys behind me were having some trouble. But to be able to keep up with Anthony and Dennis, and certainly Alex if he was up there running it, you gotta hit your marks, be consistent. But those guys were also pushing it while doing it, and that was the difference, I think.
Well, third place tonight. Great job. We're going to Martinsville next week. What do you got in store for us there?
Man, I don't know. I'm a part timer in this series, but Martinsville sounds like a good time, so I might have to circle that one on the calendar again. So yeah, that's gonna be a good one. I think the points race is going to be pretty good now. I was just talking to Anthony a little bit, and that was a big points day for him. I'm sure he created some margin there with Alex, where at a lot of these other tracks, they're kind of finishing right on top of each other. So now we got a little bit of a margin. Should have the points should have gotten even tighter, and now going to Martinsville, where it's a short track, so you're typically not going to be able to check out, and if you do, you're going to run into lap traffic. So should be a good race.
Well, Nick, we appreciate your time. Do you have anybody you'd like to thank for tonight's third place performance?
Yeah, for sure, man. So, Seminon, being the sponsor title for the series, they've done a lot for the league and especially for this series on Monday nights. So definitely shout out to them. Also want to shout out to the admins here in BTDY. They've been kind of holding it down on Monday nights and putting a lot of time and effort into it. So always shout out to them. And obviously you, man, and VSPEED, man, you kind of joined on the series this season. And I'm not just saying this, man. Y'all have been absolutely killing it, especially yourself. Um, so just thank you for all your time and effort you put in the series as well.
Well, I appreciate that, and I know Adam appreciates it, and we're putting together, the production value is improved. I feel like we've done a lot that, over the course of 2-3 years that I've been doing this, I feel like we've made major strides, and we do it for you guys mainly because we want you to enjoy and be able to go back and watch these things and remember these moments because, great group of guys here. It's absolutely fun to broadcast, and I appreciate your time. So I thank you for that.
Yeah, man, definitely. Like I said, appreciate y'all's time, and y'all been absolutely killing it. And then, obviously, congrats to the 80 tonight. He's been running with us for a while, so that's cool to see him get a victory tonight.
10-4 on that. Dennis Faircloth, winner tonight, and then we've got our third place finisher here, Nick Starling on pit road, and we thank you very, very much, Nick, for all you do, and we thank you for your time. Hope to talk to you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Well, it was a first. It was a first. Dennis Faircloth able to turn right, and he did it the right way. Your race winner here tonight, Road America Simulators Anonymous 100, brought to you by BTDY and VSPEED. If you guys liked what you just saw, hit that subscribe button. Leave your notifications turned on and never miss a single broadcast. Tomorrow night, 8:25 Eastern Time, BTDY Premiere Series is going to go live. Hope you guys can join us. We have Adam up in the booth tomorrow. Hope you guys enjoy the broadcast. This is Bradley Cooper signing off. Everybody have a good night. Take care.
Here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out the 37.
Oh! Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes Sweat.
A push for the 33.
It's a drag race.